Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the 13th Fleet After Action Report. We are very happy to have you with us here. Also, want to remind you that we are brought to you by Admiral Tater's Ship Shop. If you are looking for some absolute top-notch Armada accessories, this is the place to go. Several people have said that he is the gold standard, and I firmly believe that. So if you get a chance, if you need some stuff to up your game, go check out the website. It's going to be definitely the place to go to get some stuff that you need to play the game. So, I want to welcome you here this evening. We've had some technical difficulties on some of our feeds here lately. Hopefully, we've got all that straightened out. I think our stream last night with Swoder went okay, so we should be okay on what we've got going on here tonight. And I am just going to jump right into it because we don't have a lot of preamble for today's show, and we definitely don't have a lot of time to cover a lot of stuff here. So I want to welcome everybody here. Ruben.
What's up?
Garrett.
Hey, everybody.
And Nick.
How's everybody doing?
Hope you're all doing all right tonight.
Are we unmuted?
Yes, you are unmuted. I definitely
All
made
right.
sure that you are unmuted.
Nailed it, baby.
So I guess the first thing that went on, was it this past weekend that was the Sector Fleet Tournament?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, last weekend, I think. Yeah, it was great. I think I'm the only one that made it, along with Joel from Lexington. But there's quite a few people from Ohio, and then, of course, the Louisville group. It's pretty awesome. I think we had 16 players, which is a lot for a Sector Fleet 800-point tournament at Miso's. It's a great time. Tons of Super Star Destroyers, for sure. Damon and Evan brought some really fun CIS fleets with Martuk. And just like, so much red dice from tons of Magnificence, Providences, and everything. Trying to think. I don't think we had any Rebel fleets, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. No, I don't think so.
Well, I think
don't think
some
a
of
single
the
Rebel fleet.
Some of the restrictions on the builds kind of made it rough to do.
Makes it really hard. I kind of wish somebody would have brought Akbar with a Starhawk. I almost switched to it last minute, but I've I need to hire our buddy Joel over here, our 13th Fleet intern. I need to get him over here and organize my Armada stuff. It's a disaster. Like all my cards and squadrons and ships are just all over. I've got this tiny pool table thing. It's just oh my gosh, it's a mess.
No, man.
But anyways, it's pretty awesome. Tons of Executive 2s, Onagers, Star Destroyers, and then it was pretty good. I played Damon first round, and I had my Thrawn fleet with my Interdictor and my 2 ISDs and my Onager Star Destroyer, and he played one of my Rift objectives, Rift Ambush, and it really saved my butt because he was forced to put 2 of his ships really far away, and didn't get to me in time to really painfully hurt me as much as he could have. So we fought each other to a basically I think it was only a 50 or 40 point MOV, 6-5 in his favor. But there was one crucial move where he had this boarding trooper's Providence, and I moved my Star Destroyer and it landed within close range of it, and I was like, oh well, this is done. And then basically on the right hand side of the table, it was just all of my stuff blew up and all of his stuff blew up, and then my Interdictor got away. And then I brought 100 points of squadrons, which he was real salty about, because they destroyed 2 Magnificents by themselves.
Oh.
Vader, Mordecai, and Boba, right? Just so much damage. So anyways, we did that. It was pretty fun. And then his fleet was really cool because it was Mooney, Patriot's Fist, obviously, 2 Providences, Thermal Shields, obviously, and then Martuk. So much dice potential. He also had one of the Recusents. I can't remember which title it was. And man, it took me a lot of work to kill that ship. It ran in front of 3 of my ships. He got outside of the arcs of 2 of my ISDs, which was really devastating. And so my Interdictor was the one doing all the damage on it. And so it got to shoot me 3 times or something crazy. So that was my fault. but that was pretty cool. After that, I played Simon. He's one of the Louisville locals, and he had an Onager, two double Onager, double ISD, just a ton of dice. And he had, what's his face? Tarkin? No, Vader. He had Vader. But he put Vader, unfortunately, I felt really bad. He put Vader on the side of the table that I could get to, like, with all three of my ships. And so I targeted that so hard. And he was using that for all his rerolls, and he needed them so bad. So I was able to, after I killed Vader, I was able to, like, just kind of surgically finish off the rest of his ships. So that's pretty fun. And then the last game, I'm not gonna lie, I was exhausted at the end of that day. And
so you actually got in 3 rounds of
Yeah.
Sector Fleet? Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I played Eric from Ohio, and I was pretty fried at this point. And he had an Executor 2 and an Onager. And I was like, all right, Eric, listen, I'm gonna put all my ships in front of the Executor, and then we'll see what happens. And I was like, my goal is to blow up. He had not had a damage card dealt on his Executor all day, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna blow the Executor up, which I eventually did, thanks to my squadrons. But he was able to totally table me at the end of it. I couldn't get his Onager, but I was really satisfied that I destroyed his targeting scramblers, Executor 2 with his PE interdictor feeding it. So I got rid of that. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to think what other cool builds there were. There's quite a few. My memory of the day is kind of hazy at this point.
I'd imagine
there's a
after playing
Republic
that much
Fleet.
Sector Fleet.
Reagan from Ohio, he brought I think he had 4 acclimators or something, plus victories, and Venators. It was just this huge swarm. It's pretty cool to see because he's got them all painted like his blue and white theme. That was pretty awesome. So that's pretty cool. And then I think everybody from Louisville through Empire, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it was awesome.
You remember who ended up winning?
It's a good question. I think Evan did. I want to say yes. Evan won because he also had the Martuk Munificent Thermal Shield Providence spam, and it was even worse than Damon's because I think Evan had 3 copies of Boarding Troopers. It's a lot of Boarding Troopers, guys. With Martuk. I'm really glad I didn't play him because I was like, this looks horrendous. And with Thermal Shields, my fleet's totally useless. Because all my ISDs are throwing, even with Confire from Thrawn and my Spinals, I'm throwing 6 reds twice, which is not enough. It's not enough. And my dice fixing was leading shots, so they would always get rid of my blues. I was like, Thermal Shields, this is what it feels like. But yeah, that was it. It was a great time. I definitely recommend it. Yeah. Yes. I don't know what else to say. It was good though.
Maybe Thunderforge will have one at some point soon.
Yeah.
I think they've been rumbling about that.
I hope they do a 600 point normal rules. I think that'd be good. 600 points with normal rules. I think that'd be fine.
Okay.
As long as somebody doesn't bring something really silly, like 15 CR90s or something.
Not that many, so don't worry.
But
You're not
some
going to see
sort of limit. Yeah, because there's some people out there who have 20 hammerheads.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah.
just don't be unreasonable.
Don't be
when
that
you're
guy.
building something. But think about it, right? You have 3 hours. Let's not be stupid.
So another thing that has been discussed here lately is something that I have to say I absolutely know nothing about, other than I've seen ship designs out there, but I haven't really looked at what the actual layouts are. I've just seen the models themselves, and that's Legacy. So somebody want to clue me in on this?
Yeah, sure. So Legacy is fan created content for Star Wars Armada. They are focusing mostly on new product. they released their Wave Zero on the 1st of the month. And it was, let's see here, Ki Mundi, right? I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but a couple of, I think it's a GAR commander, a few GAR squadrons, a CIS commander, and a few CIS.
Yeah. I got pulled up real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Kiadi Mooney is a Republic admiral they did, and then they did a. So this is all CIS Republic themed. So they did Kiadi Mooney, and then they did Dalte Dauphine, which is Newt Gunray's like partner in crime or whatever, and he's like a new squadron commander for CIS. He like adds die to their pool, and I think it does rerolls for battery. So like your hyenas, which is kind of cool because then you don't have to take Bomber Command Center. Then they added squadrons. They've got a generic G9 rigger class. I think Ruben asked me about this. He's like, "Is there any lore to this?" I was like, "Nah, this rigger thing is like from Clone Wars, the movie, like the cartoon movie.
Okay.
And it's like its only appearance. I personally hate this ship, but it's really beloved by a lot of people. It looks so goofy. It's the weirdest looking ship, but it's very like junk Star Wars looking, so it fits the universe really well. And it's kind of comical because it's like always just a piece of crap whenever they're flying it in the show. And I'm like, you guys have unlimited resources. What are we doing here? But anyways, it's got 2 titles for it, or special uniques. Anakin Skywalker in the Twilight. It's pretty cool. It has a scout ability attached to it automatically, and it's rogue. They're all rogue, I should say that. And his ability, I'll read it off. If you are deployed beyond distance 2 of all friendly ships, suffer 2 damage. And while attacking a squadron, if you have 5 fewer hull points remaining, each of your red crit icon adds 1 to the damage total. So it's kind of a cool like combination of Bosk's ability and then Vader's ability of like the crit count or whatever. And I think that's pretty cool. He's got add up still. I will say, I would still never take this over Delphican, but it's cool nonetheless. However, I think because they thought about this, R2D2 gets to be a pilot of the Twilight. And this one's really neat. He has a single brace, but 7 hull. During your activation, you may choose a ship at distance 1 to 2 with at least 1 command token. If you do, that ship must choose and discard the command token, and then a friendly ship at distance 1 to 2 may gain a command token of any type. So he's just another command token tool for the Republic, which is pretty useful, and he's only 17 points. And then Ruben's favorite, they added the LAATs, generics, and they have Assault with double blue anti-ship, and then Grit, which is pretty cool to add. It really lets them move around. They're 14 points each. They're speed 3. They have 6 hull. It's pretty beefy. Their anti-squadron is actually 2 blues and a black, which is also really good. Like for the points, these are almost better than Y-wings, really. Especially push with flight controllers. So they got the same hull, better anti-ship armament. They can still bomb pretty good with the double blues, even though they're not bombers. It's not bad for 14 points. And then they have a special 5/7 ace. And his ability is while a friendly non-enemy squadron is attacking a squadron, if the defender is at distance 1 of you, you may spend 1 defense token. If you do, the attacker may change 1 die to a face with a hit and cry icon and no other icons. So he just boosts your anti-squad in the LATs. So it's pretty cool. The CIS stuff is really neat. They added the Sith infiltrator ship. I guess it's the generic is called the Star Courier, and it has Intel and Rogue for the generics at 17 points. It really reminds me of the Mandalorian Gauntlet Fighter. It's like almost identical in loadout. And then there's Maul, and the Maul ship gets Cloak, Rogue, and Dodge 1. He also has a Dash Rendar Diet ability, where if you're engaged with at least 2 enemy squadrons, gain adept 1 for each additional squadron you're engaged with. So that's kind of neat. So basically, to get to use this special ability, you need to be engaged by 3 different enemy squadrons, and then from there you gain adept 1. So 4 you get 2, 5 you get 3. So you really gotta toss them in there. and he's 24
At
points.
least
How much
At
hull
least
does he
two.
have?
He's got 7 hull. He's the same as the
Okay.
generic. All right, yeah, Nick's right. If you ever engage with like 2 in squadrons, you gain up to 1. So if you get it's +1 to what I said. So if you're with 3, you add up 2. Pretty good. But 24 points. CIS squad balls are
black,
weird.
blue black non-bomber.
Yeah, he's a pretty good bomber. But man, it's expensive. CIS squad balls are
24.
weird because like they really rely on the spam. And Count Dooku also has generic add 1 and cloak, and he buffs friendly squadrons and giving them dodge and adept. Depending on whether you're unactivated, they get dodge. If they're activated, they get adept. So taking Dooku with your swarm of like vultures, pretty good.
They can't have AI.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. No, never mind.
Yeah.
So I've
So it
never
has
taken
to
Dooku
himself.
either.
Yeah, so it has to be Star
Emperor.
Couriers and Watt.
Oh yeah.
Jango.
All right. Yeah. So never mind. Count Dooku's out. And then they added the droid gunships. These are pretty cool. They have, so they're non-bombers, but they have AI battery for the generics of a blue, so they can roll 2 blue non-bomber, and they have assault. Of course, we know how assault is in Armada. It's just not that great.
Yeah.
Now with
But-
TF-1726
I was
potentially,
gonna say
but,
Separatists can do something with raid more than anybody though.
but you don't have the points to run a squad ball and TF-1726. So
Maybe you don't have to take you don't have to run as much B2 rocket troopers.
maybe, but then you have to rely on your squad
Your
ball
squadrons. Yeah.
doing all the work.
More toys for Sector Fleet.
Possibly. I don't know. It's also got heavy, so it'll be
Yeah, so
difficult.
it just gets tied down.
Of course,
No
I'm just,
speed 3.
I haven't played any of this, so I don't know for sure. I'm just going off my initial impression, right?
I looked at it all and I was like, oh shit, this is going to be so fun in Rebellion in the Rim. Because
I think so. Yeah, this had a lot of stuff.
having Maul show up in your fleet in Rebellion is just going to be so cool.
It's
Just so-
10% of your entire list.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
you got to pick them up at Lothal after you win.
Yeah, like so cool.
And then they have an Ace HMP droid gunship too, and he's anti-squadron AI. He also has assault, and he has generic blue-black, or not generic, but standard blue-black anti-bomber. His anti-squadron's really good. It's blue and 2 blacks, so you can add in whether you're attacking an Ace or generic.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's pretty good actually. He's only speed 3 though, so that's kind of a problem. But fun stuff though, fun stuff all around. Yeah, I guess we should say this. I want to, because this is really confusing for people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's Armada Nexus, which is like, okay, I'll say this. Armada Nexus is separate, but is a lot of overlap with Legacy, and that's where you go when you want all sorts of stuff. There's lots of different universes being built around it, but also like they're building a Scum faction, Mandalorian faction, and much more expanded universe stuff. It's just, and then they're not doing as much rigorous testing, only because there's like, tons and tons of stuff. So, but a lot of it looks really fun. Like they've got the Malevolence, Subjugator classes, Dreadnoughts, all that kind of fun stuff. And then Armada Legacy is the more organized of those two, and they want to do a ton of testing, very rigid releases, very controlled, balanced releases, and really dive into just making a lot of expanded content that involve new models. I think specifically, right? New plastic.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of sellers selling all these models, right? So, and then there's ARC. And then ARC is the ones who are taking care of the rule sets for competitive play. So like if what the attempt is, if you want to play competitive Armada, whenever you go to an event, wherever it is, if they're part of the ARC community, everyone's playing the same rules at the same time. Without adding a lot of like 3D printed plastic, basically, right? Like they're not using the G9 rigger yet. I don't know, maybe someday, right? I don't know, I can't say. But the idea is like you're using the existing product that came out with Armada originally, but with updated rules. So yeah, so 3 projects, all good stuff. 3 different intentions.
I mean, we get to play Star Wars, that's just...
Yeah. So, like, all you got to do now is, like, get together, decide what you're playing, right? And then go from there, right?
And I mean, this is the reason why I don't know that much about Legacy, is because I have just been so focused on competitive style play, because that's what kind of fuels me. But even though I'm not good at it,
I know, you're good at
it. It does get me going there.
Mark released their new rules manual. So way back before AMG, we had what was called the CARM, and it was a collation of all the like FAQs and how does this ability specifically work kind of rule stuff for like the real nitty gritty. And we kind of only had AMG's forum posts after AMG took over stewarding the rule set. And now that AMG's moved on from the project, now the community, like judges and other TOs and community stakeholders is the fancy word for it, they've written a new rule set that's for all those like really minute, how does this specifically work? How do these two things specifically interact with each other? And I think it's called the it's ARC
the
something,
Armada,
I can't remember.
It's called the Armada Reference Manual. I'm gonna paste a link here in the chat.
So now we have one unified place that's not a forum that has all of our rules like determination. So when you're judging an event, if you're part of this, like if you're going to go to an event or judge an event, know this document, because that's like the foundation of the rules, right? Beyond the like rule book, this is the next like piece of documentation you need to be able to play the game competitively.
Yeah, it's super useful because it has all the erratas, all the forum posts, rules corrections, everything all in one spot for like the topic that it's talking about.
So now we do have another topic that we are moving on to, and I'm really excited about getting started on another campaign. I know we've done quite a few campaigns, but it's been a little while now, and we're doing something different as far as time period is concerned, which makes this a little bit more interesting as far as perspective. And we really want to... I actually have some questions about some of the choices anyway, so we may end up making some changes here on the show tonight. Not likely, but we'll throw that out there. So this is Rise of the Empire, correct?
Correct.
So what was the focus on ships that we are allowing in here for each side of this particular conflict? And I think we should throw that to Ruben, because he's really been the driving force behind this.
Yeah. So as lead designer of the project, what I really wanted to do was I wanted to go, okay, well, we know the Rebellion era, right? We've seen it in media. We have all the ships and the components to like play that era. And we have a little bit of a smattering of like the New Republic with the E-Wing and that kind of stuff. And we have the Clone Wars. And we can do CIS, we can do clones like the Republic against each other on this map. But as Disney has really started to explore that gray area between, like right after Order 66 that we see in a lot of the Bad Batch series, I knew it was we all kind of understand that that's part of the lore of Star Wars, where of course there are going to be little leftover Outer Rim droid garrisons that these Matt Gray Venators or early ISDs are subjugating, right? Because they want to bring order to the galaxy, of course. So to have the option to actually play that, what's really going to be lore accurate for that? And that's why I went to Garrett, here on my left, as man with the books that knows all the stuff. And I was like, hey, man, so
A lot of books.
if we're going to do this, what actually fits? And then I got like screenshots and like paragraphs of text. So I handed over to him.
So we'll start with the Empire and say what is lore accurate for this time period for the Empire.
What am I talking? Am I supposed to talk?
Yeah, it's all you, buddy.
Okay, well this is all right. So this is really easy, right? Obviously the victories, right? So those are developed at the tail end, and then it was called the Imperator Star Destroyer, which is just the ISD one essentially, right? Came out towards the end of the third year of the Clone Wars, and so ISD 2s in lore are not a thing until post Yavin, and they show up in Empire Strikes Back, right? In that 3-year time period between blowing up the Death Star and Attack on Hoth. So they're not in this packet, because and we're talking the first 2-3 years after the Clone Wars, and so you have the Gladiator, which we're leaving in there, and then the Architans, right? Because that was a Galactic Republic ship, and then other than that, almost all the other ships the Empire has were not developed yet.
You have the Venators too, right?
Oh yeah, and then you have a Venator, right? The Imperial Venator, the unique title one for Armada, whatever. So you can take one. I thought about maybe I don't remember. We might have talked about pitching, maybe taking more than one, because who cares? But the TIE initiative is the big one, because at this point, the TIE fighter and TIE bomber are it for the Empire. Because the only other way we could do it is add more Republic ships. And so really the Empire used a lot of V-Wings, but we don't have V-Wings in Armada, but V-Wings are just TIE fighters, essentially.
Well, there is one other squad that I thought probably should be in there that was not on the list. And that would be the Fire Spray.
Oh, I mean, I guess I don't remember taking it off the list, but you could, yeah. I don't remember why we said that.
The list we were given was only TIE fighters and TIE bombers.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, there was discussion about how the Fire Spray was primarily a picket ship for a particular place, but you can still get it as a scum ship. And you can it's still in the game's rules. I
think
another layer of the project for me. Sure, go ahead.
One thing about the Fire Spray is it's not an Imperial ship. It wasn't used by the Empire. It's just in the game.
Yeah.
Right. It's old. The only reason the Fire Spray is good for Boba and Jango is because it's heavily modified. Right. Yeah. I think the Decimator and Fire Spray both have this problem where they're crazy good in Rebelling the Rim, which is fine, but it's almost one of those things where it's I think Nick one time played it was hilarious. It's funny. At the time I was like, well, this is horrendous, but
I love that you were on the receiving end of that list.
It was so funny because he brought it was something 12 Decimators. It was Fire Sprays.
5 Fire Sprays, 3 Decimators, and just a Naked Raider 1.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, this is no bueno.
It was nasty. It ripped a full shield Pelta apart in one turn.
Oh, because you can throw. It's like 20 dice or something.
It was it was 10 from the Fire Sprays and then another 9 from the Decimators.
Yeah. So by that logic, it fits much better as one of the pirate vessels that come up in Rebelling the Rim all the time, with recruit allies and hired scum.
And hired scum ally tokens.
Yeah.
Which you can't get them with ally tokens, but
as a designer, I really kind of want to decouple a bunch of these rogue irregular ships that have had a faction identity put on them by the original designers to like balance out the two factions
Yeah.
and kind of like split those away from each other. Because to me, iconically, right, like if I'm going to play Rebels, I want to have A wings and X wings and Y wings and B wings. Having like YT 2400s outside of a character, or the YT 1300 outside of Han or Lando, or like the the Lancer Pursuit craft, unless it's
Yeah.
Ketsu, right? Like it just doesn't, like, for me to take a more narrative approach to the game doesn't spark the same kind of joy as the like X-wing and the classic ships do.
It's so dumb whenever I see a Rebel fleet with like 5 YT 2400s, because it's like, what is this?
Yeah, I know. Guilty, but yeah, I know.
Well, that leads me to another squad question on the Imperial side, and this is just my knowledge of lore not being complete, so I don't know exactly when this came into the flow, but I had this strange impression that lambdas were...
I think lambdas are in there, right?
Lambda should be on there.
I didn't look that... I don't remember seeing those. I thought it was just TIEs and TIE bombers.
No, lambdas are in there.
Okay.
I can double check. But
sure
but also remember, we don't get any aces.
Yeah. Well, you don't get any aces to start anyway, so
we don't get no aces. All our aces are dead.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like CIS High Command is
some of your aces are like just droids.
Yeah, but they're dead. Gone.
Yeah, like the production facility, the specialized production facility is gone.
For the prototypes.
Yeah, so that's part of the balance, right?
Yeah.
I think, didn't we do something, Ruben, where like the TIE Interceptor comes in at some point, or what was the?
The TIE Advanced can come in with the prototype.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think when you read that section of the rules, it like really tells the story of Star Wars, where like the TIE Advanced is the thing that comes in then, and the Defender is what comes in the like classic Rebellion.
Yeah.
And then you have the E-wing that comes on. Like, to me, like, I really hope that we get reveal prototype to be played and somebody actually adds that stuff to their fleet, because it's one of the most interesting things that I've written in the rules that we just have not seen, just happenstantially, because there's so much stuff going on, decision making in these games, and like it just doesn't come up, and that's fine. But like the emergent story of getting the new squadron into your fleet and then you like add it to your roster, right? Just to me, that just seems like such a fun little bit of game.
Yeah, there's one. We only have one prototype recovery on the map right now.
There should be another one. There's supposed to be one on Geonosis, and the other one is on Mon Cala. I think that's what it says.
Might just be an error on my part.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's blacked out. Yeah, because there's like 3 or 4 planets that only have one. There's only one of some of the specific campaign objectives.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I hate it when spammers come onto my...
That's the what's it called? That's so the map is different each time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no, Mon Cala is supposed to have one, I think.
Well,
there it is. Yeah, I had unchecked it.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I don't know how any of that digital part works. So.
It's just a bunch of layers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, are there any other layers that are we need to adjust? Because I want to.
I don't think so. I think because I did the green objectives.
Yeah, because we only get half of them, and I rolled like 4 hired scums again for some dumb reason.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe
random
I messed
computers.
up. I don't think I did though.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a few hired scums. There's a couple Volta cargos.
Yeah, there's I think 3 hired scums.
All five of the supply planet objectives come out first.
Yeah.
So those are all come out. Then you'll get 7 of what? There's 6 more that come after whatever that adds up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what we did. That's right. Okay, so I am right. No, so the map is good except for that prototype recovery. My bad. Every planet has a resource.
Hmm.
but not every planet has a special or specific objective.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
But not every planet has a special or specific objective.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now we got feedback. We got feedback.
Sorry about that. That was my fault. I'm trying to figure out how I get rid of this stupid.
We got feedback.
Sorry about that. That was my fault. I'm trying.
Oh,
To...
it's still
Hold
going.
on. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
killing
here we
this.
go.
We're recursing.
Oh, it's still going.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. I will not figure out how to ban that stupid spammer, and I'll. It's not really hurting us anyway.
Okay. So, anyways, where were we at? We were talking about squadrons that were allowed. Prototype recovery is officially on Moncala.
Okay.
Posted that on Discord.
CIS will get the aggressor if we happen to win one.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about how the Empire is like I find the fleet limitations really interesting. Now I haven't had to play them and build them, but like conceptually, as like a designer, I was like, because when I look at Empire and Rebellion and Norm, I go, ISD2, interceptors, bang, kill people, or interdictor, demolisher, pew pew, right? So to not have those staples in the fleets, I'm really interested to see what you guys have come up with.
I always like watching boxing matches when one of the boxers has their hand tied behind their back.
Yeah, well, you haven't developed the technology yet, so.
So what are the?
No,
we've already discussed that one of the restrictions on CIS is that they don't have their aces. What other restrictions?
They don't have their officers either.
Yeah.
No unique officers at all.
Yeah.
They're all dead.
All generics.
Yeah. Which is, I think that's a pretty fair trade. Their officers are really powerful. So.
Yeah. Then you guys get Gazantes. I forgot about that. And I think I excluded Howrunner because she was not born yet. She's like a Battle of Endor TIE fighter pilot. And then Gunner Chief Arnillian for the same reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone would ever take her in Rebellion the Rim, but I excluded her. But like Mahler Mythil is like, I think he was like a veteran of like the Republic, like originally or something like that. I have to go back and think about that, but he's definitely part of it. And then of course, Jindin is also old. And then the TIE bomber, aces and special squadrons. But yeah, if it's like not working, then fix it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
I still
fine.
want to see like a giant swarm of TIE fighters, so it just feels right. Imperial 1, shit ton of TIE fighters. That's what I would play personally.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because I think I have an interesting fleet put together.
Yeah, we all the stuff we came up with was all we're all pretty excited for it, even with the restrictions. I know I'm joking about the being handicapped.
Yeah, I kind of want to add. This is like really unbalanced, but like I kind of wanted to add Republic squadrons, like ARC 170s for the Empire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would still be like in service.
Destroyed.
Or like,
so dead.
or like the idea is if they're flying the Imperial Venator, that fleet gets to have Republic fighters.
Squadrons, because it's still it's still carrying older commissioned fighters. Yeah,
I thought about that idea.
That's kind of cool. That gets so complicated though with like you wouldn't be able to use like any kind of fleet builder app to do that.
No.
Yeah, you gotta. Wow. Which isn't too bad for like 200 points or whatever. But.
Yeah, you have one upgrade. You can't keep track of it on paper.
But that's like the super nerd inside of me, like Screed having a Venator with ARC 170s and Gladiators or whatever.
Yeah, and I would love to do.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I would love to do more kind of like mixing stuff up like that. Like we talk about how you have like we talked about this before with like the Rebellion era with the Phoenix Nest, right? Like getting a Rebel Quasar, and it's like, why don't we just throw it on there and see how it would work, and then see what would like just take the Imperial one, put it in Rebel list, and then tweak it from there.
Yeah.
And Rebellion of the Rim, I feel like at the 200 point level, and it's a lot more thematic. Is a really good place to explore. Like, what if you do take why couldn't the Rebels use like an old salvaged Separatist ship or something like that? Like we just come up with it.
I'm all about that. Listen, I am all about that. No questions asked. I think we should. If I had more time, we should do a New Republic versus Imperial Remnant thing.
Oh
where
yeah,
you can
that'd
use
be really cool too.
whatever you want. Literally whatever. Like I could be the Pentastar alignment with Munificence, and an SSD.
The 3D print some Hapen battle dragons.
Oh my god! I wonder. Yeah. I bet somebody at Nexus is putting together Hapen fleet.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Hapens, a Mando fleet. I would like to fly pirates. Scum would be cool. So I'm excited to see what those guys come up with. So.
Yeah. And I'm like, for the project, as Legacy adds more like curated content, like I intend to add a bunch of it to this document because I just think it's really cool.
This plugs in perfectly with Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what Legacy is trying to do and what this advanced rule set for Rebellion and Rim is trying to do, like they just mesh together so well. Like I want to do Clone Wars again so we can have lats, but like with some of the changes we've made, I don't know how specific we want to get about that stuff. The campaign's going to be longer because it has set numbers of rounds in each act and set numbers of acts. So now, like, you can schedule a whole brick of 3 months to play this, but also it's 3 months, so it's not as fast. Like, just cycle through it and get to the next one if you want to try something.
Now I know at one point it had been mentioned that there was the possibility of raising the points to start with, which we haven't done, and I think hearing some reasoning on why that wouldn't be done or why that might be done might be a good idea here, just to discuss the pros and cons of that.
It's so starting at 300 points is an optional rule in the original book. I built a 300 point fleet, and you can do it. I don't know how the different factions really scale into each other, but most of my design time went into all this additional stuff to just like get the core game to have more meaningful choice in the map strategy of it, and that's why there's secret missions. So doing the how does this scale to different levels part just really hasn't been explored like in this rule set, but it did inspire me to start thinking about how to do the Sector Fleet Chaos campaign stuff, which is for like the big battle.
Yeah.
I think, Chris, if we did 300 points, we would have to make the 1 card per ship into 2 cards per ship.
Probably.
Otherwise, you'd start having
I would be
weird. You'd be spamming too many ships with 1 upgrade card instead of trying to build.
Yeah, I still feel like if you're doing this scale of things, don't necessarily look at 100 points. Look at 250 points rather than going all the way up to 300. 250 for your start and 300 at the end if you were to do that. But I don't know that necessarily helps things. I mean, it would lead to more crowded maps since you're playing on the 3x3s here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It never seemed too crowded when we got to 250 points with one-on-one. So I bet up to 300 points it would get normal.
The difference is the number of ships, right? At 200 points, you don't get to add more ships to your fleet. So if you start at 250, that's like 1 extra ship per fleet, and then you just stack your upgrades on those. It wouldn't be. I don't think it'd be too cluttered. You can play 300 point Armada on a 3x3. It's not.
But then again, you also look at I guess when you're thinking about as the game progresses, you've got a limited number of upgrades that you're getting based on the battles that you're doing, and being able to spread it out amongst the ships that you start off with would be, they look lighter than what they are in the normal campaign.
That's why you'd most likely would be adding small ships that really only need the 1 or 2 upgrades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of lists, if you jump from 200 to 250, a lot of lists would be adding in a flotilla, like CommsNet flotilla, and maybe squadrons would be kind of the jump there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you go to a 5th small if you're playing that kind of fleet.
If you're going crazy, yeah, if you're going crazy.
Maybe.
Or like you jump your medium to a large if you don't already have a large. It's just...
Yeah, but you'd still be capped at like 12 upgrades total. So if you increase your ships by 25%, and you're still at the same number of upgrades, especially with how hard it is to get multiples of the same type of upgrade in the game. I don't know, because I've thought a bit about how do you play Rebels MSU just at 200 points, and it's a really kind of like weird 4 hoops you have to jump to.
Well, I feel like we learned the lesson on that from what Jason tried the last time he played the Rebellion in the Rim campaign, because he was trying to run the same ships loaded out the same way, and it wasn't working because you just could not get the upgrades that you wanted to match up on the ships.
You gotta do like CR-90A, Hammerhead, Corvette, CR-90B, Torpedo, so you have like one of everything. And you just kind of,
Yep.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yep.
So we've gone through everything. We've got the maps set up and everything as far as where bases are. We declared all of the initial battles.
Waiting on them.
Oh, I feel like the answer is obvious for the first one. Right, Ruben?
I haven't even looked at it, so.
Oh, they're attacking my Guido.
I can't see that in my mental image of the map. So
What?
We're attacking your Guido.
Oh. Well, keep in mind that we will be posting updates on what we're doing here on the Discord. There is a channel specifically on our Discord for the Rebellion in the Rim, which actually I'm just going to call it the Outer Rim conflict now, just because this is not Rebellion. This is
yeah.
But
post-war sieges.
Yeah. So if you want to keep up with what's going on, please join the Discord, see what we've got going on the battles, and of course we will have on Mid-Rim Mayhem, we'll be showcasing these games for the next month or so a couple months actually. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Any closing thoughts this evening?
I'm just going to say that if you'd like to play the playtest, there's also a PDF posted in that same part of our Discord. So feel free to get yourself between 4 and 8 players. It does go up to 8 now, and pick yourself an era that you'd like to fight some battles in, and post your time with the rule set and your campaign to the Discord too. I'd love to interact with other people that don't have my preconceived notions about it, and get some feedback on the rules text and how much fun you guys have.
I need to pin that to the top of that channel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also Thunderforge is having another tournament this weekend, which I don't think I can go to. I've got company coming.
Yeah, sadly, I'm doing a 3 to 11 on Saturday, so nope, it won't be me. Work sucks sometimes.
Guys, thanks for having us again, Chris.
Well, thank you guys for joining us, and again, I am really looking forward to the start of the new campaign, and I hope everybody watching will enjoy it as well. I'll say good night to you guys.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
So, thank you again for watching the show. I hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have. We did cover a lot of topics here. I am hoping that I spend some more time learning about Legacy before the next time we discuss that. I'm sorry I didn't have a lot of information on it, but it is some great stuff that they're putting together there. Just because I am a competition junkie does not mean that I don't enjoy casual games as well, so I'm looking forward to getting back into some of the more casual format as well. But as far as what we've got going on the channel here, coming up on Thursday, we will have Mid-Rim Mayhem, which will be the first round of our Rebellion in the Rim campaign. Then on Sunday, we will have Swoter again. So I hope you guys have been enjoying that and want to join in on that. Other than that, we will see you in a couple weeks back here on the After Action Report. Thank you again for watching and have a great night.